Amanda has a question that I think we've touched on a little bit. To sum up, she's asking, how do you weave in setting details into a story organically so they don't feel like an info dump? I know you're talking about those like set your feet paragraphs at the beginning, but we don't want that to feel info dumpy either. So is there a throughout kind of thread tip?
Yeah, I definitely think there are moments like where I know I comment on this when I do writing group work and I'm like critiquing the stories, is that every now and again I'll be like, hey, I kind of forgot where we were. I forgot where the character was sitting. I forgot what they were looking at. I kind of forgot if it's night or it's day. And so I do think it's important to have this little scattering of details here and there. It's kind of like once you set our feet down, you got to tap our toes a couple of more times after that. And so I just think, yeah, keep an awareness up of like, okay, I've been in the thick of dialogue. We've been learning a lot, but like, there's also like a window my character can look out, and out that window, there's a few kids playing in the yard, and that gives us just this little detail that sets us back down, right? And so I think there's something to be said for just kind of touching our toes down occasionally, and it does depend on what kind of writer you are. Like, if you've ever read Madeline Miller's books, like her descriptions are gorgeous and they wind and they run, and the readers who read her know they're going to get those and they accept that. They're not the kind of readers who are like, wow, this is a little dense for me. I wish we didn't have so much description, because they go in knowing there's gonna be descriptions, right? And so I think if that's who your readership is and what your style is, that's totally fine to be immersive in that way. It just depends on what you're trying to write. I am definitely more on the like, I trust my reader and I'm going to give them the handful of details I think they need. I'm not going to go wild with the description, because I'm going to paint the picture. I'm going to let your brain fill in the rest. And then I'm going to move us into action and into character dialogue and all of that. So it definitely depends on style as well.
I love that. I've definitely, especially in early drafts, I'm very likely to like let my characters exist in a white vacuum.
Yeah.
That's obviously not great, and you need to remember to go back through. I think setting your feet at the beginning is such a strong point, because I really hate when I'm reading, I'm like 3/4 of the way through a chapter, and then suddenly they're like, and lightning struck outside, and I'm like, it was storming anyway. Like what?
Yeah.
I had no
Yeah.
idea. This completely changes the mood. Or there was like one item they've been staring at the whole time, but they just didn't tell us about it. And I was like, well, that would have been really good to know.
Yeah.
So I like a little bit up front, but then some trickle through. And remember that your characters do need to like interact with the setting around them. Nobody just like hovers in space. People
Yeah.
are sitting in chairs or leaning on tables, or, physically interacting with things around them. And that's a great way to bring back like the style of furniture that's in the room, and, let people know that you're in a space. So on the flip side, I'm not a person who loves way too much. But I also don't love like if I'm constantly reading like a full page of, I guess that's the info dump portion of it, right? I feel like I don't want to call anybody out, but some classic authors, I'll say, will really spend like a whole page just telling you like it's really hot, and it's like, I mean, I could have just gone along with these kids are sweating and they're wiping their brows and they're sunburned and things like that. You didn't have to describe the specific temperature for a whole page.
Sure.
So some balance.
If you enjoyed this video, we've got a lot more on writingmastery.com. Check the description for links to our blog, free writing tools, and more. Happy writing.